guys, welcome back to the channel. So today it is, of course, another dreary cold winter day, and I thought we would share our seed haul for this year. We have been probably within the last 3-4 years trying to narrow down and select the different varieties that we really like. So we've been narrowing down how many tomatoes we really enjoy and really want to grow for specific reasons, specific purposes. We've been trying to find the perfect cucumber, I guess you could say, for our needs. I have been attempting on several occasions to seed start eggplant. I have yet to have a whole lot of success with seed starting eggplant. I can grow the plants, but for some reason I'm having trouble with the seeds. So we're trying to work on that. And then of course we have expanded into what is the shelling pea varieties. So we really narrowed down what we liked and enjoyed in those, so that we could save trellis space for actual beans this year. And let me go on ahead and show you here everything that we've got. So we'll start with the beans because they're right here. And what we have is a magic runner bean from Perennial Permacultures. Yeah, from Perennial Permaculture. And these beans, we already opened this pack up to look at them. I mean, they are just, and the dog wants to eat them because they smell like dinner. Are those just not, those are so beautiful. I mean, so I'm really looking forward to expanding some of our horizons that way this year. Now, the other thing that we've been trying to line out in the tomato, no, you can't have the package, but you're cute. The other thing that we've been trying to line out as far as seeds go in the tomato category is going to be our paste tomatoes. So we have nailed down that we really enjoy the black creme. Well, let me rephrase that. The Russian black creme. It grows really well for us. It's super flavorful. We love it for fresh saucing. We love it just to slice and eat as a snack, to use on burgers, to put on salads, you name it. As far as fresh eating is concerned, that's probably our go-to tomato. We have in the past been using the Genovese tomato. Now, the Genovese for us has been a very healthy producer. It is also in the indeterminate category and heirloom category, but we have noticed when we go to sauce with it that there is still not quite enough meat in there to make a really good, nice, thick sauce and get the consistency that we're really looking for. We have to really cook them down low and slow, and like in the crock pot. I'll try and tag that up here, put a little thing for you to see that if you're interested in learning how to do that, which is fine to do that, but we would really like to have a nice meaty paste tomato. And so we have gone on ahead and we've invested in some San Marzanos. These are also an heirloom from M.I. Gardner. We have gotten a lot of seeds from M.I. Gardner. I have not had any difficulty with M.I. Gardner seeds at all. Love purchasing from them. So we're going to be trying those for our paste tomato needs, just to see. Now, there is a good possibility that we could accidentally have some Genovese pop up, because we did lose some tomatoes down in there with the heat. They would ripen, they would split and fall off, and we couldn't get all the seeds out of the soil. It wasn't happening. So we may end up with a surprise or two in regards to our tomatoes, but that's fine. All right, so here's a few other things that we have also gone on ahead and invested in. Now, for our zone, we don't really have spring. We have fall, we have summer,
Yeah.
And then winter and spring, they're sort of there sometimes. So you could go out in all of your snow gear and you could come in needing to be wearing Bermuda shorts, because that's just our weather here. So we have had difficulty when it comes to an actual sweet shelling pea. So when you go into like the freezer section of your stores to get peas to pop in the microwave and coat in butter, because that's just amazing, we cannot grow them here. I have yet to find the right pea for our zone, which is why we have gone on ahead and purchased these from Seeds and Such. Now, we are new to purchasing from Seeds and Such. However, we had some friends give us seeds, the Desperado green bean seeds to be precise, and they did phenomenal for us last year. I have nothing but good things to say about the Desperado green bean. So if you're looking for a good green bean that is actually stringless, that is super, super tender, and that as a bush variety is easy to harvest off of, the Desperado is the way to go. We compared it with the Provider bean, which the Provider bean produced just as well as the Desperado, but the problem that I had with the bush Provider bean was that anytime I went to harvest off of it, I ended up inevitably breaking off branches, and sometimes major branches, which with a green bean plant, that's not ideal because the green beans are going to keep coming. So you really don't want to damage your plant per se. So that was a really big down. It just ended up on the con list pretty strongly for me, because when I'm needing to go out and harvest, I'm wanting to harvest and be able to do so efficiently, and I didn't feel like I was able to do this efficiently. So we have the peas from Seeds and Such. Now, most of these have come from Seeds and Such, by the way, just so you know. We also went on ahead and invested in another bean. This is a type of runner bean. Hopefully that's coming through okay. So it's pretty much going to be sown like the other beans that we have here, like the cowpeas. It'll be going up the trellis, and we'll be putting it into dry storage for us. What we also invested in as far as beans go is going to be the black wax bean. So this is a traditional wax bean. It's going to be yellow on the outside, and then the little seeds inside are going to be black, and you can kind of see them through the yellow skin, which is super cool, I think, and I'm looking forward to cooking with them. But we also got those from Seeds and Such here. So these are going to be sown very much like our regular green beans, and the plan is, because this is also a bush variety, since we have green stalks, instead of taking up room, because we are a small space garden, instead of taking up room in our raised beds, we're going to be loading up our green stalks with our wax beans and with our green beans. The other thing that we got here is the Danvers half-long carrot seeds, also from Seeds and Such. This is a really good variety. Nice and sweet carrot, good texture, but it also is a storage variety of carrot. So if you were looking for something that is in basically the heirloom category that's going to hold, Danvers is going to be it. And it's really nice to cook with as well. All right, now I did mention my issues with the eggplants. So gone on ahead and I have invested in this bad boy here. Now, the reason that I went on ahead and invested in this particular variety is it is supposed to have a better tolerance for heat and humidity, which is what we are known for here. So my hope is that I can get some stronger seed starts, and if I can have stronger seed starts that are going to be a little bit more accepting of our intense heat in the early spring that I won't have as much trouble growing these to full-size plants as I would the other seeds that I've collected. Oh yes, and then I thought this was a fun one. We've been looking for the right kind of cucumber, and I mentioned that. So we have two, we were at three, we've narrowed down to two. One is an heirloom and one is a hybrid. The hybrid is the Katrina, and then the heirloom is the Ashley. So we went on ahead and invested in these cucumber seeds. And the reason that we did that was we enjoyed both of the others for different reasons. We enjoyed the Katrina because the skin was nice for salads. It was just enjoyable to snack on, to make into hors d'oeuvres and take to family situations and things like that. The Ashley we preferred for our pickle process. We preferred that just because it was a firmer, it seemed to be a firmer cucumber that stood up to the vinegar, the heat, and all of the processing. We went on ahead and invested in these seeds primarily because it sounded like it combined the best of both of those worlds, as well as it likes humidity. And in our area, there is never a time that I can recall in growing cucumbers where we have not had the mildew issue that comes on cucumber plants. You can get it on eggplants. It's a little bit more towards the later end of the season, but you can get it on your eggplants. You can get it on any of the squash plants. You can get that on okra plants as well. Supposedly, this is not supposed to have that problem, and because it doesn't have that problem, it's supposed to be a better producer in our type of climate and environment. So fingers crossed on the cucumber for this year. Let's see. Some of these guys here are going to be refill items. Refill items, things that basically we just have found that we enjoy and we are using the seeds up. So the good thing about seeds and such is that you have options as far as quantity. You can get even larger quantities than what we have here. So if you've got more space, that would probably be the best option for you, because the more you buy, the more you save, kind of a situation going on. But one of those examples is going to be butter crunch lettuce. We like this at all stages, from just pulling off the little tender leaves when it's first coming in to full blown just cutting off the head and taking that in for a full salad. It's also really good for lettuce wraps. The thickness of the leaf is nice, but it's still tender at the same time, and it doesn't seem to get woody along the veining. Next thing is going to be the purple top turnip. That's just going to be a classic guy that you see almost everywhere. Our area, it is notoriously difficult for us to find root vegetables that are not carrots, onions, or potatoes. Even sweet potatoes are hard to find. I know, I don't know why. I don't know the logic of that, but we enjoy our turnips, so we rarely, if ever, are able to just let them go to seed to collect seed off of them, which is why we just went on ahead and did a stock up on that. Same with the French breakfast radish. Unfortunately, I'm the only member of the family that's a little bit picky on the radish side of things, but I love the French breakfast radish. I can eat it sliced fresh in salads. I also particularly enjoy it roasted in the oven with a little bit of butter, salt, and pepper. If you want to get fancy, you could add some garlic, but you really don't need to. But they're amazing roasted in the oven. Trust me, if you've never liked a radish in your life, I feel you. go on ahead and try doing it that way. It'll change your life. Next thing is going to be kohlrabi. This is also a cool weather crop that is notoriously difficult for us to find in our area, but that we enjoy eating. And I've rarely been able to let one go to flower. I think I was able to do that once or twice 5 years ago, and that was it. Now, for the really fun stuff. We managed to find, through Seeds and Such, an actual marigold that acts like a marigold. So in other words, it still has all of the natural bug deterrent properties, but it's a creamy white. It's a butter white. So we got seeds for that. I'm very, very excited about including this in the garden this summer. The bees seemed to just be all over our marigolds last year. And it also helped to keep a lot of the really bad squash bugs. We didn't have as many squash bugs last year, did we?
No, we had a lot less.
Yeah, and I'm going to attribute that
more to
the marigolds, because I made sure to plant marigolds in almost every single bed out there, just to make sure that we didn't have as much pest pressure. When you don't have as much pest pressure, gardening is a lot nicer experience. This is going to be the zinnia that we got. It's a profusion cherry.
Bicolor.
Yes, it's a bicolor, and it's really, really cool because the bottom is basically like a red, and then over the top is a white with a bright yellow center. It's gonna be amazing. Give some depth and interest, and that's really what we're trying to develop with our flowers right now, is developing some interest to have all throughout the summer. So we're learning to stagger our flower planting a bit.
As well as just beautifying our garden. You don't have to just keep flowers separate from the rest of your garden. It helps with pest pressure, but it also brings beauty so that you want to be there. You need to make your garden where you want to be there.
Yeah, we, at the very beginning, I think it would be fair to say we did a functional vegetable garden.
Yes.
And when I say a functional vegetable garden, I mean it was downright practical. It was just food interplanted with food plants, and that was it. We didn't do cross planting of flowers and vegetables and layering that way. And I would say, other than the fact that we had soil contamination issues, I think we've had a healthier garden. I mean, from what I've been able to see.
Yes.
Compared to just having food. And granted, there's nothing wrong with just having food, but bringing in the good bees and butterflies, and then we had that random, I'll try and find the video where I caught the hummingbird moth, which is actually a pollinator. It's not just like a typical moth, it is a beneficial moth. Bee bopping around our flowers all over the place. Never had those ever before, but the more of the interplanting that we keep doing, the more we seem to have happy life happening in the garden.
Including ourselves.
Yeah, and it makes us smile. And what we bring to the garden translates in the garden. Okay, guys, so then the next one is going to be, this one was my pick. That zinnia was Mom's pick. I picked the Zinnia Zahara Starlight Rose. So that's going to be this, also from Seeds and Such. Very different, kind of frilly compared to our other zinnias. So the other thing that we have been working on is a little bit of texture and having the different dimensions, because we are out there so much. And one of the things I ended up telling Mom this last year that I really would have liked to have been able to dedicate more time to, which we've been doing a lot of the infrastructure stuff, and that's important. We needed to have the infrastructure in order to get where we needed to be. But I really would like to start being able to bring flowers in and make arrangements with things so that we can bring the garden inside the home to enjoy as well, and as well as making some dried and pressed flowers. That is something that I would like to start doing again. We haven't done it for a while. We've been talking about doing it for about 1.5 years, 2 years. Then, oh, this is another one. We have a pansy here, and it's a ruffle mix. So this has everything in it from yellow to blue to purple. There's sort of a purpley pink, maybe more of a magenta-y kind of, but it's frilly all along the edges. So it looks like ruffles, literally. So that's gonna be fun to have. Now, if you've ever, I don't know, surprisingly, at least in our area, not very many people plant a whole lot of pansies. And once they stop having flowers on them, people just pitch them. I'm going to tell you, please don't. Just pinch off and deadhead the plants, because they will last all through the year. We have had pansies pop up in the middle of snow and ice. I kid you not. And we could have sworn they were dead. So don't give up on your pansies, because they really can give you beauty all year long. Just go in and deadhead and they should come back. The other one that I'm really excited about as well is going to be this calendula. It's called Snow Princess, which the name should kind of make it obvious. It's going to be a white calendula. So if you guys followed us for a while, you probably are aware that we do have a shop where we handcraft bath and beauty products, and one of the ingredients that I use in a lot of the combinations is calendula flower. It's really, really good for the skin. It's actually good to take internally too, but I harvest a lot of it either for us to drink in tea and or to use in skincare products.
As well as healing.
Yeah, I also make salves and balms out of this. So we go through a lot of calendula and because we have happy wildlife that enjoys being here when we are in full garden season, they tend to eat the calendula. Birds actually love calendula. So if you've ever tried to grow calendula and you went out the next day and it was gone, but it was there the night before, it's probably a bird. All right. Oh, so we did get some freebies. I don't know that we're going to be planting these because we already have a yellow pear that should be coming up out there, and then we also have the white currant, but they were kind enough to send us this chocolate pear tomato. So it's going to be around the same size as our yellow pear, except it's going to be a dark brownish, reddish kind of a color. And it looked like it was going to be really amazing. And we kind of went back and forth on whether or not we wanted to try and clear out the top layer of that bed and see if we could seed start these. And we said, no, let's not worry about that. This year we've got the San Marzanos that we're going to be practicing with. We'll just let the bed do what the bed's gonna do this year and then try these guys next year. We also were given pepper, fire, and ice. So this is an ornamental pepper, but it is edible. That is not always the case when it comes to ornamental peppers, and it usually says so on the tag. When you get an ornamental pepper, it usually says do not consume because they're actually toxic. So this has me very, very excited. However, we are focusing on naturalizing hatch green chilies to our region. And because of that, I don't want to have any potential cross-pollination with these guys and affect the seeds for next year, because next year we would have 3-year-old seeds, and that's really exciting because that means we really only have at least 2 more years before we can begin to say we have naturalized seeds. And as geeky and nerdy as all of this sounds, that has me really excited. We do have other peppers that we plan on growing after we get the hatch stabilized to our region. So once they are fully stabilized to our region, we've got Italian peppers that we want to try. We have some Japanese peppers that we want to try. We have some heirloom, like bell peppers, I think from the 1900s, that we want to plant and try and grow on and see how
Mad Hatters.
Yeah, yes. The Mad Hatters are amazing. They are like the sweetest bell pepper in the smallest package that you could ever imagine. But the flavor is so much brighter and bolder in those 2 bites of pepper than in any bell pepper you could.
Less acidic.
Yeah, a lot less acidic. Obviously, you can't. Well, you know what? You could probably stuff them. They would be really good hors d'oeuvre.
Yeah.
Little stuffers. So that might be a good idea if you're going to get together with friends or family in the summer. That would be a really simple thing to take. That finger food, barbecue. Yeah.
Roasted,
Yeah.
they're good.
Yeah, roasted, they're good. And that's primarily how we preserved them, is we roasted them and then packed them in olive oil. And they've held beautifully, and they translate beautifully in soups, stews. We use them in chilies. We've actually used some of them in our Italian beef that we did. So really, really nice pepper all the way around. So there are plans and there are other things that we are going to be doing in that regard. It's just we can't do them right now. So we're working on the other things that we need to get nailed down, so that then when we get to the peppers, we can just experiment with peppers and see what really takes and works for us here. But other than that, oh wait, I lied. We do have an Italian white sunflower that we invested in. Now this one is super exciting. I'll go on ahead and try and put a link to when we built the sunflower bed. We will be revamping that bed and making it deeper this spring for planting. And the reason that we're excited about these Italian sunflowers in particular is that they are they're shorter. They're okay.
We'll see about that.
Mom is laughing because we ended up getting a pack of sunflower seeds that were only supposed to get 4 foot high, and they reached 7.5 feet high. So when we grow our sunflowers, they grow. So they really, really like our environment here, evidently. But what this will do is it's going to give us some layering, we hope. So those 4 foot sunflowers that are supposed to be 4 foot, but are 7, they can get up to 7, and these guys, which are only supposed to be 2 feet, should be maybe 3 or 4, which means we can have staggered and layered depth and interest in the garden. The other good thing about them is they are a multi-head sunflower. So that means I can collect more sunflower petals and make more sunflower goodies for our shop as well. If you've been around for a while, you've probably seen, especially if you're over on our Instagram account, you will have seen the sunflower lotion bar. That's probably one of my top selling lotion bars. And honestly, it's lovely for dry skin.
Yes, it is.
Especially if you've been working out in the garden in the summer. My hands get so chapped being out in the garden. I keep a sunflower lotion bar with me.
Great for nurses' hands too, where we're washing
Oh, yeah.
continuously.
Yeah.
Dry it out with
Yeah, with all
sanitizers.
all the sanitizing. Yeah, same in restaurant work. So for now, guys, that's all I've got for you. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. As always, keep it simple, natural, and essential. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.